upload this on my website. I'll probably upload it to YouTube as well. So I did a Uber run tonight. I picked this guy up. What happened was he goes to college and his car was towed. And so evidently somebody towed his car about 10 o'clock. And I dropped him off. Well, I took him to get some cash, and then I took him to his car. So he got on the phone and called the lady because it was supposed to be open. And he called the lady from his phone because it was closed. She said, "I'll be there in 5 minutes," to pick up his car, right? Because she had told him earlier, I guess, when he called, because he must have got a text or something from the UNCG college or something. So he went over there, and it was closed. I said, "Man, I cannot see it here. I've got to take another run." Drop him off. The phone dings, and then I go pick up somebody else. Now I thought, should I go back after I finish this third run? Because I wasn't going to drive long tonight. Should I go back, check on him?
In a quarter mile, slight right onto West Wendover Avenue East.
Because he was out there by himself out in the middle of nowhere. So the first thought I thought, well, he's out in the middle of nowhere. Look at that. Look at that. That was a cat. Thought it was a fox. But anyway, I thought, now what's going to happen?
Slight right onto West Wendover Avenue East.
I thought, what's going to happen? Let me close this navigation thing next time.
Continue on West Wendover Avenue East for 3 miles.
I thought, what's going to happen if something happens to him? They're going to see my... I dropped him off out in the middle of nowhere. But then I had this other call, and thankfully, I went straight to that other call. But I thought, should I go back and help him out? Then I ended up in another city. But my thought was, how does the police track if something happens? Now, this really happened tonight. So that was about 10:30. So I do a few more runs, and I end up in another city. So I about ran out of gas. And so I Googled Sheets to see where the local Sheets was. It's 2 miles away. So I go up there and get gas, and there's a policeman sitting at the other pump. Now, remember, my thought was, what happens when you drop somebody off and something happens to them and you got another call? What would the police do? I thought, how would they handle that? So I go to another city, do some more runs, go to another city, have to get gas, and there's a policeman walks up to my car and said, "I got a weird question." I said, "No, there's really no weird questions. Everything in this reality is weird, you know." And he said, "Do you know any other Lyft drivers?" I said, "Well, I don't drive a Lyft much. I mean, I have it on my phone, but I don't use it." He says, "Does it keep a record of your drop off?" I said, "Well, I don't know anybody who drive. I don't know any drivers because I usually don't drive in this city. I drive in another city." The very conversation, the stuff he was asking me, he said somebody was missing, and he on a Lyft run. I said, "What's the name of the person?" He said, "Well, the person was a juvenile, and the driver, I think he gave me the driver's name." I said, "No, I don't know that person." But anyway, the very thought that I had when I dropped that person appeared in the hologram. It actually appeared. Played out. The story played out. I was in another city. I thought about it over here. It played out in another city 2 hours later. The very thing I was wondering, how the police handle something like that. Evidently, he knows the Lyft driver who dropped the juvenile off, evidently. And so he's asking if it had a record of how it works. I said, yeah, you just pull it up, shows all your rides. That's why it's good not to stay. If somebody says, well, can you sit here?
In a quarter mile, use the right lane to take the I-70.
You say, no, I can't stay because you don't know what's going on. They go in the middle of nowhere and drop somebody off. They want you to sit. They don't. Look, you hate to leave them hanging, but you got to protect yourself. And if you show a navigation, you drop somebody off and you got another call, they know. They know. What am I saying? The story plays out in 3D what you're thinking. It's all a reflection. It's all a hologram. That is bizarro land. Bizarro land. But when you understand why, it goes back to the cross. Everything happened at the cross. And so everything's a reproduction of that story. And so it doesn't matter if it's your thoughts, it doesn't matter if you're having kids, it doesn't matter if it's a job where you're reproducing, it doesn't matter if it's the past, it doesn't matter what it is. It reproduces. A TV show, a series, the Batman, the Spider-Man, everything reproduces after its own self, after its own kind. But yeah, I haven't done Lyft in 6 months. I told him, I said, I don't do Lyft. I don't like it. I've got it on the phone, but I don't like it. So evidently, some kid took a Lyft and went missing. It's probably not the Lyft driver. It's probably the kid walked off. Got in trouble. Because they do background check for the drivers. I feel sorry for that Lyft driver because he's probably being watched for something he didn't do. Lyft to me is trouble. I would. When you do Uber versus Lyft, you'll see what I'm talking about if you ever drive. It's good side money, you know. It's something to do when you're bored. If you get bored. Actually, I could probably show it. So there's a truck that says tortilla. It's a yellow truck. It's got tortillero. It's a yellow transfer truck. Tortillas. And right in front of them is a FedEx truck. There's a yellow arrow. Here's a lot of cone barrels. Caution. Cones. So everything we just saw is going to repeat. When? Depends on it. The story has to play out. So so I just passed a truck, had a bunch of yellow signs on the back of it. A yellow, just like that color on that truck. Construction workers had a bunch of yellow signs on their stuff. But anyway, it has to repeat because it's all a reproduction. If you want to solve all mysteries, go back to the cross. So what happened at the cross was everything. And so you're just following after. It's not magic. It's not necessary. It is a miracle because it feels like a miracle because you're in a book. You're in a 3D book, and Every day is the same, and it's a script. And the seed that you sow has to reflect back. It's actually wild. We'll probably see a FedEx truck here in a minute, just on the side road here. Something to do with FedEx will probably show up here in a second. Or a tortilla truck, or a tortilla sign or something like that. 2 yellow signs. There's your precog. The precog and the postcog are really the same because everything is the now. My last run, a guy was I was talking to him, and I said something, and I said, man, there's another yellow sign. And I know the yellow signs are popular, but what I'm saying is, when you focus on it, it has to appear in a big way. You'll see here in just a second. Anyway, I told the guy some stuff, and he could hear me. I said, is at your age, I said, how are you able to hear me? Because most people aren't at this level, man. He said, well, I do a lot of meditation and stuff like that. So there's a yellow sign on that store. There's a yellow sign over there. There's a yellow sign in front of me. So something, I'm seeing the color yellow. So something's getting ready to happen. It's too many precogs. Some big yellow sign's going to show up or something. The transfer truck had a yellow sign, tortilla. It's right here. People say, well, you're crazy looking at this stuff. No, I'm not. You're crazy for not seeing it. Because once you see it, you realize there's nothing new. And if there's nothing new, I'm not really traveling. And if I'm not moving, I'm in a hologram, and all this stuff's moving around me. And the reason it's moving around me is object lessons to change my inner man, because my inner man's the only thing moving, and that's why it's called movement, because it's movement. Ment is mental. Your mind is moving, so everything around you is moving. Mental. Movemental. Movement. 2 more yellow signs. Yeah, they've always been there, but I'm noticing them now, so I'm paying attention to it because of the precog on the highway. We're getting ready to see some kind of something big that's got a yellow sign, or the color yellow. It's big because it's too obvious. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. It's a story. It's already been anyway. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Because if you take it down to its root, everything is either flesh or spirit inside the story. And there it is over there. There it is. It appeared. Look. So I just told you I talked to a policeman, right? Let me show you how the story works. I just talked to a policeman at Sheets in another city. And I saw that yellow truck, right? Now watch this. See, it all reproduces, and it coalesces into a concrete example. And then there will be a new precog. Look. So I talked to the cop at the Sheets, and then I saw that yellow sign on the highway. I started talking about it, and there it is. It appeared. Warning, panel must face south. Warning. Why is it warning? That's not a warning. There you go. The very thing that I was talking about, and then the tortilla truck, it coalesced into one object where you saw a police trailer that was yellow Had police on it. What was I talking about? I was talking about the policeman. I was talking about that yellow truck. And you actually saw the two mesh together. You saw it in real time. I was in High Point. I drove to Greensboro. I haven't been over in this side of town. I didn't know that was there. So what am I looking at now? Seeing the red and the blue. See that blue sign and the red? The blue sign and the red. Now, if I focus on that, it's going to show me a precog of some red and blue object story. And it doesn't have to be colors. It could be a conversation. It could be anything. There's no new color. There's no new thought. Oh, that's what we were talking about. The guy that I just dropped off. We were talking about how the bird, he was a computer programmer going to school, but he ended up doing something else. He said, everything's a program. I said, yeah, the birds all act the same. The dogs act the same. You know it's a program. The trees act the same. So it's a program. I said, so what is, I told him, I said, everything in front of you is the same. It's just the same stuff every day. And the reason it's the same is to change your inner man. This here is the same, but the new is your inner man. And there's that looks yellow, but it might be white. But now the precog is shift from the yellow police to the red and the blue. But the very thing I'm talking about has to appear right now. But it's going to appear in a storyline like a movie. Movement of the spirit. Mental. Story, Tor. Movement, movemental, move the spirit. So everything is playing out as a movie. And a lot of times you can see the precog, but the trouble that's coming your way, you can actually see the precog before it hits, and you can change the movie, change the story, change your thoughts. You can make a shift in the appearance by shifting your thoughts, shifting your words, shifting your conversation. That's how it works. Whether you believe it or not, it don't really matter. It's the real deal. Go back to the cross. Everything already happened. Everything's a reproduction after that story.